In the chaos of our daily lives, anger often feels like an old friend, always ready to visit, quick to arrive and reluctant to leave. But what if I told you that the power to change this lies not in suppressing your anger but in mastering the art of delay? Welcome to a journey of self-discovery and emotional mastery. Today we explore a timeless piece of wisdom. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. These words, penned by the Roman philosopher Seneca nearly 2,000 years ago, hold a power that can transform our lives today. But before we dive into the how, let's address the why. Why should we care about managing our anger? Why not just let it flow freely? Uncontrolled anger is like a wildfire. It destroys relationships, damages our health, and often leaves us with regrets that can haunt us for years. But here's the truth: anger itself isn't the enemy. It's a natural emotion, often signaling that something important to us is at stake. The real challenge lies in how we respond to it. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism comes in. The Stoics, ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, taught that while we can't always control what happens to us, we have absolute control over how we respond, and in that space between stimulus and response lies our greatest power. So how do we create this delay, and what happens in the crucial moment of pause? Let's explore this through the eyes of three individuals from different walks of life. Meet Sarah, Michael and Alex. Each faces unique challenges that test their patience and trigger their anger. Through their stories we'll uncover practical strategies to master the art of delay and transform our relationship with anger. Sarah is a high-powered executive constantly juggling multiple responsibilities. Her days are filled with back-to-back meetings, urgent emails, and high-stakes decisions. In a meeting, Sarah looks increasingly frustrated as a colleague presents a poorly prepared report. At this moment, Sarah feels her anger rising. The old Sarah might have lashed out, criticizing her colleague in front of the entire team, but Sarah has been practicing the art of delay. As she feels the heat of anger, Sarah remembers the words of Marcus Aurelius: "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength in that moment of delay. Sarah asks herself three crucial questions. 1. What is within my control in this situation? 2. How would my best self respond to this? 3. Will this matter in a month from now? By creating this delay, Sarah gives herself the space to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. She chooses to address the issue constructively, turning a potential conflict into an opportunity for improvement. Now let's meet Michael. As a high school teacher, he faces a different set of challenges. Dealing with teenagers all day requires patience, understanding, and often a thick skin. Michael is in a classroom facing a student who is being disruptive and disrespectful. Michael feels his anger building as the student's behavior threatens to derail the entire class. But Michael too has learned the power of delay. At this moment, Michael recalls Epictetus's words: "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." During this short walk, his moment of delay, Michael reflects on three key points. 1. This student's behavior is not a personal attack on me. 2. There may be underlying issues causing this behavior. 3. How can I turn this into a teaching moment? By creating this delay, Michael transforms his anger into empathy and turns a potential confrontation into a meaningful interaction. Lastly, we have Alex, a stay-at-home parent. While not in a traditional workplace, Alex faces countless daily situations that can trigger anger and frustration. In a scenario, Alex is dealing with a child's tantrum in a grocery store. As Alex's child throws a tantrum in the middle of the grocery store, Alex feels a familiar wave of anger and embarrassment. But Alex has also learned the art of delay. At this moment, Alex remembers the words of Seneca: "He who is not angry at sight of evil is not virtuous, but he who does not preserve his calmness amidst his anger is not wise." During this brief moment, Alex's delay, three thoughts come to mind. 1. My child is not giving me a hard time, they're having a hard time. 2. How can I address the underlying need causing this behavior? 3. This too shall pass. By creating this delay, Alex transforms anger into understanding, responding to the child's needs rather than reacting to the behavior. Sarah, Michael, and Alex show us that the art of delay is not about suppressing anger but about creating a space for wisdom to enter. In this space we can choose our response, aligning our actions with our values rather than our immediate emotions. But how do we cultivate this ability to delay our anger, and what happens in our brains during this crucial moment? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the science of anger, the philosophy of the Stoics, and practical techniques you can use daily to master the art of delay. As we dive deeper into the art of delaying anger, let's explore what happens in our brains during those crucial moments of pause. When anger rises, our amygdala, the brain's emotional center, triggers stress hormones. Our body's ancient fight response prepares us for immediate action, but this quick trigger response often does more harm than good in our modern world. This is where the power of delay comes in. By consciously pausing even for a few seconds, we activate our prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain responsible for rational thinking and decision-making. This simple act of delay allows us to shift from reacting emotionally to responding thoughtfully. But how do we build this habit of delay? Like any skill, it requires practice and patience. Let's explore some practical techniques you can use in your daily life. 1. The 555 rule. When you feel anger rising, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 minutes, 5 months, 5 years? This simple mental exercise helps put the situation into perspective, often revealing that our anger is disproportionate to the problem. 2. Box breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4 and hold for 4. Repeat this cycle 4 times. This technique, used by Navy SEALs, helps calm your nervous system and create that crucial moment of delay. 3. The Stoic. Pause. When faced with a triggering situation, mentally step back and observe it as if you were a neutral third party. Ask yourself, what would a wise person do in this situation? This creates emotional distance and allows for a more rational response. 4. Reframing. During your delay, try reframing the situation. Instead of seeing it as a threat or an attack, can you view it as a challenge or an opportunity for growth? 5. The is it true technique. When angry thoughts arise, ask yourself, is it true? Often our anger is based on assumptions or misinterpretations. This question helps us pause and reassess. Remember, the goal isn't to never feel anger. Anger is a natural and sometimes useful emotion. The aim is to create a space between the trigger and our response where we can choose how to act. Let's return to our 3 friends, Sarah, Michael, and Alex, and see how they implement these techniques daily. Our executive Sarah has made the 555 rule a regular part of her mental toolkit. In a recent high-stakes negotiation, she felt her anger rising when the other party made what seemed like an insulting offer, but before responding she quickly ran through the 555 questions. While the offer was frustrating, now she realized it wouldn't matter much in 5 months or 5 years. This perspective allowed her to respond calmly and continue the negotiation productively, eventually reaching a mutually beneficial agreement. Michael, our high school teacher, has been practicing box breathing. One day a student repeatedly disrupted his class, testing his patience to its limits. As he felt his anger building, Michael excused himself momentarily and stepped into the hallway. There he practiced 4 cycles of box breathing. Those 64 seconds of focused breathing gave him the clarity to return to the classroom calm and centered. He addressed the student's behavior firmly but compassionately, turning a potential blow-up into a teachable moment. Alex, our stay-at-home parent, has embraced the Stoic pause during a particularly challenging day when everything seemed to be going wrong. Alex's child spilled juice all over a freshly cleaned floor. In the past this might have been the last straw, but Alex paused, mentally stepped back and asked, what would a wise parent do in this situation? This moment of reflection helped Alex see the incident not as a deliberate provocation but as a normal part of a child's development. Instead of yelling, Alex turned the cleanup into a game, teaching responsibility while maintaining a positive atmosphere. These real-life applications show us that the art of delaying anger is not just a philosophical concept but a practical tool we can use every day. But what about those times when the anger feels too strong, too justified to delay? This is where we need to dig deeper into the roots of our anger. Often our anger is not just about the immediate trigger but deeper unmet needs or fears. During your moment of delay, ask yourself, what's really bothering me here? Am I feeling disrespected, insecure, powerless? Understanding the root cause of our anger can help us address the real issue rather than just reacting to the surface trigger. Consider the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who said people are not disturbed by things but by the views they take of them. This profound insight reminds us that our anger often stems not from the situation but from our interpretation. By delaying our initial angry response, we give ourselves the chance to reassess our interpretation and choose a more constructive view. Let's practice this right now. Think of a recent situation that made you angry. Got it? Now let's apply the art of delay retrospectively. 1. Take a deep breath and create some mental distance from the event. 2. Ask yourself, what was my interpretation of this situation that led to anger? 3. Is there another way to view this situation that doesn't lead to anger? 4. What need of mine wasn't being met at that moment? 5. If I could Go back. How might I respond differently? This exercise isn't about judging your initial reaction, it's about training your mind to create that crucial delay in future situations, giving you the space to choose your response. Now let's address a common misconception. Delaying anger doesn't mean being a pushover. In fact, it's quite the opposite. By mastering the art of delay, we can address issues more effectively and assert ourselves more powerfully. When we respond with calm clarity rather than reactive anger, our words carry more weight and our actions have more impact. Consider the words of Marcus Aurelius: the nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. This strength allows us to stand firm in our principles without being swayed by the winds of anger. It enables us to say no firmly but respectfully, to set boundaries without burning bridges, and to address conflicts constructively. Let's see how our friend Sarah, Michael, and Alex apply this strength. Sarah recently had to confront a team member about consistently missing deadlines in the past. Her frustration might have led to an angry outburst that would have damaged their working relationship. Instead, Sarah used the Stoic pause to collect her thoughts. She then had a calm, focused conversation with her team members, clearly communicating the impact of missed deadlines and working together to find solutions. Her calm strength led to a productive dialogue and improved performance rather than defensiveness and resentment. Michael faced a challenging parent who was angry about their child's grade. Instead of becoming defensive or angry in return, Michael used the "is it true" technique to examine his assumptions about the parent's intentions. He realized that the parent's anger likely stemmed from concern for their child's future. With this perspective, Michael was able to have a constructive conversation, explaining the grading process clearly while also discussing strategies for the student to improve. His calm, empathetic approach turned a potential confrontation into a collaborative effort to support the student. Alex had to deal with a neighbor whose dog constantly barked, disturbing Alex's child's nap times, and instead of angrily confronting the neighbor, Alex used reframing to view the situation as an opportunity to build a better neighborhood relationship. After calming down, Alex approached the neighbor, calmly explained the situation, and suggested they work together to find a solution. This approach led to a friendly conversation where they discovered the dog was barking due to separation anxiety. They were able to brainstorm ideas to help the dog and maintain peace in the neighborhood. In each of these situations, delaying the initial angry response allowed for a more effective resolution. This is the true power of delay. It doesn't just help us avoid the negative consequences of anger, still it also opens up possibilities for positive outcomes that anger would have prevented. But what about those times when delay doesn't seem possible, when the anger rises so quickly and intensely that we react before we can even consider delaying? This is where the practice of mindfulness comes in. Regularly practicing mindfulness in our daily lives can increase our overall awareness of our emotions, making it easier to catch anger early before it overwhelms us. Try this simple mindfulness exercise several times throughout your day. Take a moment to check in with yourself. What emotions are you feeling right now? Where do you feel them in your body? Are your shoulders tense? Is your jaw clenched? By regularly tuning into your emotional state, you'll become more adept at noticing the early signs of anger, giving you more opportunities to apply the art of delay. Remember, mastering the art of delay is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when you succeed in pausing before reacting, and when anger gets the better of you. The key is to approach this practice with self-compassion. As Epictetus said, we should not be angry with ourselves when we fail, but should keep educating ourselves without any sense of hostility. Each time you successfully delay an angry response, celebrate that victory, no matter how small. When you react in anger, use it as a learning opportunity. Reflect on what triggered your anger, how it felt in your body, and what you might do differently next time. This reflective practice is a form of delay, extending the pause after the event to inform your future responses. As we near the end of our exploration, let's recap the key points of the art of delaying anger. 1. Anger itself is not the enemy, it's a natural emotion that can signal important issues. 2. The power lies in the pause between the trigger and our response. 3. This pause allows us to shift from our reactive emotional brain to our rational thinking brain. 4. Techniques like the 555 rule box, breathing, and the Stoic pause can help us create this crucial delay. 5. Delaying anger isn't about suppressing but choosing our response wisely. 6. Regular mindfulness practice can help us catch anger early and create more opportunities for delay. 7. Mastering the art of delay is an ongoing practice that requires patience and self-compassion as you go forward. From here, I encourage you to view each instance of anger in your life as an opportunity to practice the art of delay. Start small. Even a delay of a few seconds actions can make a significant difference over time. These small delays grow longer, giving you more space to choose your response wisely. Remember the words of Seneca that we started with: the greatest remedy for anger is delay. In this simple statement lies a profound truth that within each of us is the power to transform our relationship with anger. By mastering the art of delay, we not only avoid the destructive consequences of uncontrolled rage, but we open ourselves up to more constructive, compassionate and effective ways of engaging with the world. So the next time you feel anger rising, take a breath, create that tiny space between stimulus and response. In that space you'll find your power to choose, to respond rather than react, to understand rather than judge, to transform rather than destroy. This is the true power of delay, and it's a power that resides within every one of us. As you leave this video, I invite you to carry techniques or strategies and a new perspective on anger. See it not as an enemy to be defeated, but as a messenger to be listened to. After a thoughtful delay in doing so, you may find that anger becomes not a source of regret and destruction in your life, but a catalyst for growth, understanding and positive change. The journey of mastering anger through delay is a lifelong one, but it's a journey that leads to greater peace, stronger relationships and a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. So take that first step, create that first delay, and discover the strength and wisdom that lies within you. As we enter the final chapter of our exploration into the art of delaying anger, let's take a moment to reflect on how far we've come. We've learned about the neuroscience behind anger, explored practical techniques for creating delay, and seen how this approach can transform our daily interactions. Now let's dive deeper into how we can integrate this practice into the very fabric of our lives. Daily reflection is one of the most powerful ways to reinforce the habit of delay. The Stoics practice an exercise known as the evening review. At the end of each day they would reflect on their actions, mainly how they handled challenging situations. We can adapt this practice to focus specifically on our management of anger. Try this each evening. Ask yourself these questions: 1. When did I feel anger today? 2. Did I manage to create a delay before responding? 3. If so, what was the outcome? If not, how might things have been different if I had? 4. What can I learn from this to apply tomorrow? This simple practice reinforces the importance of delay and trains your mind to be more aware of anger triggering situations. Over time you may create that crucial pause in the heat of the moment. But what about those times when anger seems justified, when we're faced with genuine injustice or wrongdoing? This is where the Stoic concept of righteous anger comes into play. The Stoics believed there could be a place for anger when it was controlled, proportionate and directed towards addressing injustice. However, even in these cases delay is crucial. Seneca wrote, anger, even when it is justified, should never be expressed in private. Wait for witnesses before manifesting it. This delay serves multiple purposes. It allows us to ensure our anger is justified, formulate a more effective response, and express our concerns in a way that is more likely to lead to positive change. Consider the great leaders who have effectively channeled their anger towards social justice. Figures like Martin Luther King Jr. or Nelson Mandela. Their anger at systemic injustice was not eliminated but transformed through patience and wisdom into powerful non-violent action. They exemplify how delay can turn anger from a destructive force into a catalyst for positive change. As we practice the art of delay, our relationship with anger begins to change. Rather than seeing it as an overwhelming force that controls us, we start to view anger as valuable information, a signal that something in our environment needs our attention. This shift in perspective aligns with the Stoic principle of assent, the idea that we can examine our initial impressions and decide whether to accept them as true. When we feel the first stirrings of anger, we can pause and ask, is this anger serving me? Is it proportionate to the situation? Is there a more constructive way to address what's bothering me? By consistently applying this practice, we cultivate what the Stoics called sophro, a state of mind characterized by moderation, self-control and harmony. This doesn't mean never feeling angry. Instead, it means having the wisdom to know when anger is appropriate and the self-control to express it constructively. As we near the end of our journey, let's return one last time to our friends Sarah, Mick and Alex. Sarah has found that her delay practice has improved her professional life and enriched her relationships. By pausing before reacting to her partner's occasional thoughtless comments, she's been able to have more constructive conversations about her needs and feelings, leading to a stronger, more understanding relationship. Michael has started teaching his students about the art of delay, incorporating mindfulness exercises into his classes. He's noticed a marked improvement in classroom behavior and has even received grateful messages from parents about how these techniques have helped at home. Alex has discovered that mastering delay has increased overall life satisfaction by responding thoughtfully rather than angrily to daily frustrations. Alex finds more joy in parenting and has more energy for personal pursuits. These stories remind us that the art of delaying anger isn't just about avoiding adverse outcomes, it's about opening up space for more positive, fulfilling experiences in all areas of our lives. As we conclude, remember that mastering the art of delay is not about achieving perfection. There will still be times when anger gets the better of us, when we react before we can pause. The key is to approach this practice with patience and self-see passion. Each moment of anger is an opportunity to practice, learn and grow. In the words of Epictetus, first say to yourself what you would be and then do what you have to do. By aspiring to respond with wisdom rather than anger, we set ourselves on a path of continuous growth and self-improvement. So as you move forward from this video, I invite you to commit to creating that tiny space between stimulus and response, that crucial moment of delay. Start small. Even a delay of a few seconds can make a significant difference over time. As you practice and refine your ability to pause, these small delays grow longer, giving you more space to choose your response wisely. Remember, the power to transform your relationship with anger lies within you. In that space between stimulus and response, in that moment of delay, you'll find your freedom to choose to respond rather than react, to understand rather than judge, to grow rather than destroy. As you go about your day carrying the wisdom of the Stoics and the insights we've explored together, may you find new strength in the face of anger. Please discover the power of delay not just as a technique but as a way of life. May this practice bring you greater peace, stronger relationships and a deeper understanding of yourself and others. Thank you for joining me in exploring the art of delaying anger. Remember, in the words of Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Now go forth and may you wield the power of delay with wisdom and grace.